is going to ruffle some feathers. But we have to talk about dating single mothers, and nobody really wants to say the truth. There have been some clips here and there that I've watched recently that was talking about how, a man should step up and save the day. That's all BS. Let me take a sip. Too controversial, huh? Too many feelings. But it's too damn real for a lot of men, actually. And that is, dating single mothers and why you probably shouldn't. It's the ultimate I want to burn my life down test case. There's a hidden reality behind those cutesy Instagram posts that she has. That shit that they don't mention in the dating profile. The price tag that nobody shows you until you're already emotionally invested. Let's dive into the uncomfortable truth. No filter, no bullshit, just facts for you guys. Because men need to understand exactly what they're signing up for when they ignore the fundamental red pill tenets. Don't date single mothers. Not because they're bad people, but because the deck is stacked against you from day one, actually. And the first thing you need to understand, you will never, and I mean fucking never, be the priority. Ever, man. Does it sound harsh? Good. I hope it does, because that's the reality. While in a traditional relationship, a man expects to be the woman's primary focus, that dynamic's impossible here. Her kids come first, always. And as they should, because that's her kids. But you need to know what that actually means day to day in your life. Well, it means you're voluntarily stepping into a relationship where your needs are permanently third or fourth place at best. After her kids, often after her own needs too. And this fundamental truth violates the natural order where partners prioritize each other. Last minute date cancellations or date nights interrupted by emergency phone calls, weekend plans demolished because little Timmy got the sniffles. Your vacations have to be planned around school schedules and those custody agreements. Spontaneity, that shit's dead on arrival. Ask any man in this situation. And the evening you had, that romantic one, postponed because the ex dropped the kids off early. Again. You're building your relationship on someone else's schedule. Someone who probably still despises the woman you're dating. But fun times, isn't it? But wait, there's more. Remember that? Because you're walking into a ready-made family, bro, with established traditions, if there are any, established rules. Not any likely, though. Established dynamics, probably all toxic. And guess what? You didn't establish any of that shit. And you have no authority. The kids already have a father, biologically, at least. Maybe he's a deadbeat. Maybe he's still heavily involved. Either way, you're entering a situation where your role is fundamentally unclear. Are you a father figure? A friend? Mom's new boyfriend who needs to stay in his lane? Nobody fucking knows, including you. And here's the fucked up part. You're expected to navigate this emotional minefield flawlessly. One wrong step, relationship's over. Because her kid's well-being trumps your hurt feelings every single time. And money, let's talk about it. Because in the red pill, the truth is that resources and provisioning is number one. And dating a single mom means dating someone with significantly higher expenses and significantly less disposable income than her childless counterparts. And it's true. You're signing up to be a provider for a family unit you didn't even create. And kids are expensive as fuck. Childcare costs more than college tuition in some states. School supplies, clothes they outgrow every 3 months, extracurricular activities, medical bills. That's all on your dime. She's carrying that financial burden largely alone, which means fewer resources for your relationship, cheaper dates, budget restrictions, limited flexibility, but unlimited expectations on your motherfucking wallet. And eventually, the uncomfortable question of your financial contribution, because it is coming. Trust me, all the men in the comment section will tell you. Single mothers are biologically wired to seek providers. It's pure evolutionary psychology. She needs resources for her offspring, and you're the new potential source. No matter how independent she claims to be, financial support becomes an expectation. Remember this hard truth. You're investing in another man's genetic legacy. Your resources, your time, your emotional energy, all going to benefit another man's biological children. Let that sink in for you. How much should you contribute to household expenses if you move in together? Should you help pay for the kids' stuff? Where's the line between being supportive and being taken advantage of? Nobody prepares you for these kinds of questions or conversations. They're inevitable, unfortunately. And the ex, oh boy, the fucking ex, here we go. The gift that keeps on giving, huh? This violates another core red pill principle. You should be the only significant male presence in your woman's life. Imagine trying to build a relationship while another man remains permanently in the picture forever until those kids are grown. And sometimes even after that. It's a constant reminder of her previous sexual and emotional commitment to another man, and an inescapable connection that undermines your position. Birthday parties, graduations, sports games, holidays, any sort of arrangement. There he is, the man who had her first, who created something permanent with her that you never can, who still has legal and financial ties to her, who can call and text about the kids anytime he wants. Best case scenario, he's respectful and boundaries are clear. Worst case, ongoing drama that makes the Game of Thrones look like a fucking children's show. Either way, you'll always be competing with the ghost of relationships past, both for her attention and in her family hierarchy. Passive-aggressive text, custody battles, child support disputes. You fucking name it, using the kids as messengers. And you're caught in the middle of a war that you didn't start and you can never finish. It sucks, bro. But some men just don't learn until it blows up in their face. And you better have thick skin, because no matter how irrational the ex behaves, you're expected to take the high road. Always. Even when he's making life a living hell for you both. And sometimes that ex still has emotional hooks in her. That's the worst part. Unresolved feelings. Oh my God. Complicated history. Years of shared experiences that you can never compete with. Rose-tinted glasses. Think about all that baggage, man. The fucking baggage. Single mothers have been through some shit. Divorce, abandonment, complicated co-parenting relationships, financial struggles. Their trust has been shattered, often by someone who promised to stick around forever. Think about that. Think about that affects how they approach relationships. Trust issues, fear of vulnerability, protective walls around their heart and their kids. And you have to be dealing with all that shit. You'll be paying for another man's mistakes, answering for another man's failures, healing wounds you didn't even fucking inflict. Is it fair? Fuck no, it isn't. Is it reality though? Absolutely. Her schedule's a fucking nightmare too. Between work, childcare, and the kids' activities, her free time is minimal, precious, and often unpredictable to her. And dating becomes a logistical challenge that requires strategic planning like a fucking military operation. Spontaneous weekend getaways, bro, not without arranging childcare weeks in advance. Late night drinks, forget about it. Only she got a babysitter ready, which costs money she probably doesn't have. So you're footing the bill for that too. And your relationship develops in the margins, the small gap between her responsibilities. The leftover energy after she's handled everything else, that's what you get. Still interested? Seriously? Because we're just getting started. And if you swallow the real red pill, you already know the rational answer is to walk away. There are millions of women out there without these complications. Women who can make you their first priority. Women whose exes aren't perpetually in their lives. Women whose resources aren't already overcommitted. But let's continue for those who insist on playing life on hard mode. The little white knight coming to save the day. Let's get into the emotional complexity. Off the fucking charts. And this violates another fundamental tenet. Understanding relationships should add value to your life, not endless complications. You are not just dating her. You're dating her past, her trauma, her fears, her children's needs, her ex's influence. There's a whole damn ecosystem of emotional landmines. She's damaged goods, not morally, but practically. She carries the scars of failed pair bonding. Her ability to fully commit to you is compromised by previous heartbreaks and ongoing responsibilities. And those kids, they've been through trauma too. Divorce, daddy issues, abandonment fears, trust problems, acting out, all that shit is on your head. It's not their fault, but definitely it's not your problem. You might face resentment, resistance, testing behavior. Why should they trust you to stick around when their own father didn't? Fair question, and it's a painful reality. Some days they'll treat you like the enemy. Other days they'll cling to you for dear life. Emotional whiplash at its finest. And the discipline drama. Oh boy, what a dilemma that one is. One of the most complicated aspects nobody talks about. What authority do you have? When can you step in? How do you handle it when her kids disrespect you in front of her? Too strict? You're overstepping. Too lenient? You're undermining her parenting. Just right? That target fucking moves daily, buddy. Here's the truth. It takes years, and I mean like literal years, to find your place in this family dynamic. Years of uncomfortable moments, awkward conversations, hurt feelings, misunderstandings. Years where she reaps the benefits of your presence while you struggle for basic respect. Are you ready for that investment? With no guarantee on return? Because wisdom teaches us to evaluate relationships based on return on investment. And this is objectively one of the worst ROIs in the dating marketplace. The input to output ratio is completely upside down. In the living situation, that gets complicated fast. Think about this. You're moving in together, and it's not just about your relationship progressing anymore. It's about becoming a daily presence in her children's lives. A pseudo-parent without the biological connection. An authority figure without the established history. And you might not even get the authority anyways. Your home is no longer your sanctuary. Your space is no longer yours alone. Privacy, a distant memory, man. Kids are messy, loud, unpredictable. They take up physical and emotional space. They dominate the atmosphere of the house. That quiet dinner conversation, the lazy Sunday mornings, that shit is all gone. And your stuff, better lock it up if it's valuable. Kids break things, expensive things, sentimental things. Without malice, though, without warning. It just, oops, little Timmy knocked over their favorite set of whatever the fuck. Grandma's ashes, there they go. The relationship milestones, they look different too in these kinds of fucking situations. The honeymoon phase most couples enjoy, that shit's abbreviated, interrupted. Sometimes it doesn't even exist because little Timmy needs something. Your first trip together, oh shit, that includes the kids. You're moving in, that's a family decision now, not just between you two. Major life changes, oh, you got to filter that through the impact of the kids. Not your kids. And your romantic relationship constantly competes with parental responsibilities, and often you will lose. Even sex becomes a strategic operation. Kids asleep, doors locked, sound management, constant vigilance against uninterrupted Timmys. Forget spontaneous intimacy, man. Forget lazy morning sex. Forget the natural evolution of physical connection that most couples take for granted. The social dynamics shift dramatically too. Your friends without kids, they won't understand the constraints, the cancellations, the child-centered decision-making. They'll drift away. Family gatherings, you're bringing the extra people into the mix. People with their own needs, preferences, and behaviors that you don't even have full control over, nor the authority. Holiday planning becomes diplomatic nightmares. Whose family gets Christmas morning? How do you balance her ex's visitation schedule with your family traditions? People will have a lot of opinions. Actually, lots of fucking opinions. Some will admire you for taking on someone else's kids, like you're some kind of charitable organization instead of a person seeking connection. Others, they'll question your judgment, wonder why you'd sign up for that kind of fucking drama, and ask you if you're being used as a financial safety net. And that judgment comes from everywhere, bro, including other single mothers, parents, friends, families, strangers on the internet, all with their own insecurities, and they'll throw that shit in your face. And your identity will undergo a transformation that you never planned for either. Your masculine frame, the core sense of self that the red pill philosophy emphasizes as crucial, that becomes diluted and redefined immediately in this scenario. Suddenly, you're John, Sarah's boyfriend. You know, the one with the 2 kids. The relationship status becomes your defining characteristic in social settings. Mr. Save-A-Ho. Your value is reduced to your utility in someone else's pre-established family system. What the fuck? And you find yourself explaining your role constantly to teachers, to neighbors, to medical professionals, to her family who still have pictures of the ex on their walls. Your authority and position is constantly questioned and undermined in ways a biological father never experiences. Your masculinity comprised by the perpetual secondary status. Your decisions no longer about you. Want to change jobs? Want to move to a new city? Go back to school? All these choices now impact the children who didn't ask to have your decisions affect their lives. The future planning gets exponentially more complex. Want more kids of your own? That's a conversation with layers her childless peers cannot fucking imagine. Blended family dynamics, age gaps between siblings, resources stretched even thinner, retirement planning, college savings, financial priorities compete in ways you never anticipated. Fuck, even wedding planning, if you get there, includes questions most couples never face. Do her kids walk down the aisle? Do they stand with you? What roles does their father play in the celebration? What the fuck? And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to acknowledge. After all that investment, emotional, financial, practical, these children may never see you as their parent. They might appreciate you. Hell, they could respect you too. Even love you. But there's a biological connection you cannot replicate. A history you were never part of. And a bond that existed before you ever arrived. And you could do everything right, bro. You can show up consistently. You can love unconditionally, provide unstingingly, and still hear the, "you're not my real dad," during a heated moment. And that shit'll cut you deep. no matter how much you prepare for it. So why would any sane man sign up for this? It violates every principle of male sexual strategy. You're literally choosing the hardest possible path with the lowest possible reward. Some blue pill thinking might suggest there's hidden value here, that you could be the hero in this story, the white knight who rescues the damsel and her children from hardship. But that's fucking fantasy, not reality. In reality, you're signing up to be a secondary character in someone else's story, a supporting role, a resource provider without the full benefits of genetic legacy or primary relationship status. The cold, hard, red pill reality, she made her choice when she created children with another man. That was her investment. Those are her consequences to manage. That's her life path, not yours. Every minute you invest in raising another man's children is a minute you're not investing in your own legacy. Every dollar you spend supporting her family unit is a dollar not going to your own future. Every ounce of emotional energy you pour into those kids or her navigating these complex dynamics is energy not spent pursuing your own maximal potential. Is there a rare exception? Yeah, maybe. Okay, 1 in 1,000 cases. A unicorn situation where she truly appreciates your sacrifice? Cool story, bro. The kids genuinely accept you. Okay, the ex causes no problems. And the relationship provides equal value to what you invest in. I'm sure there's one some fucking where, but the exception doesn't make the rule. And are you willing to bet your one life on being that exception? I'm not here to tell you it's categorically impossible. I'm here to tell you it's a terrible fucking bet. And what I am telling you is to go in with your eyes fucking open. Know the price before you commit to paying it. And then ask yourself the core question. Why would you? Because this isn't just dating. It's applying for a position you cannot easily quit, with responsibilities you cannot fully anticipate, in a dynamic you didn't create, and you cannot fundamentally change. It's voluntarily putting your neck in a noose while hoping it's the one noose in 1,000 that won't tighten. The hidden price of dating single mothers isn't just financial. It's not just logistical. It's a complete recalibration of your expectations, your identity, and your future. And it's compromising your sexual market value by attaching yourself to someone else's complications. In a world of nearly 4 billion women, why choose one with this much baggage? Why start a race with weights strapped to your ankles? And why build a foundation with someone who's already cracked? The true wisdom isn't that dating single mothers is merely difficult, is that it represents a fundamental misalignment with male sexual strategy and self-interest. It's a trap disguised as an opportunity. It's a liability that they market as an asset. Your time, your resources, your potential, your future, all of which are way too valuable to invest in a situation designed from the ground up to exploit your utility while minimizing your authority. Choose wisely. Firstly, choose yourself. Because none of this makes sense in hindsight when you get absolutely destroyed. You'll wonder what the hell you were ever thinking. Ask any man in this comment section what happened to them when they dated a single mother. And you'll see the truth for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. There are still some men that message me asking if dating single mothers is a good thing, that they met this girl, but she has a kid or two and everything seems to be going well. I advise everybody the same thing in these videos that you just watched. Why the hell would you? There's 4 billion women on this planet. But when the clam opens up, the brain shuts down. Boy, we got a lot of work to do as men. Hopefully these videos are providing value, guys. If you want to be a part of topics like this,